All right, ladies and gents, this is another video with the Carnal Conservative. Welcome, and this is a doozy because the Jack Murphy shit has not settled down. It just got worse. It got so bad. So apparently, I did not know Jack Murphy called himself a conservative. I had just thought that he was a someone who claimed to be helping men, be alphas, and all that wonderful jazz. The idea of him claiming to be a conservative was new to me, which makes the next revelations about the Jack Murphy drama even more disturbing and hypocritical. Apparently, Jack Murphy did sex cam with his fiance, allegedly, and from his own lips, to pay the rent. Now, we've already discussed why the idea of male masculinity being validated by Poon being a horrible idea, how that leads to cuckoldry. Well, on the road to cuckoldry, you will do other stupid things. And that's... And let me just put this in context. I don't care if you want to film yourself with your partner, with your wife, with your significant other. That's all you. If you want to upload those things to the public and share those moments with other people, that's on you. You do you on that. I don't approve of it in any way, shape, or form. But people do make their decisions. So where we get into a moral conundrum, in my opinion, is when you ask money for it. That's that's the real clincher here. It's not, filming yourself. It's not the sexual act itself. It's not filming the act. It's creating the act and putting it out there to make money off of it. That, to me, is the line that goes way too far. Now, for me, that line was crossed way before we got to that point. But the real clincher here is he had himself and his fiance on a cam to make money off of their bodies while claiming to be conservatives and creating a program that helps men become better men. And it's how do you... Okay, so on the pathway to cuckoldry, you are in light doing the light and soft version of pimping, not just yourself but your partner. You can't make this shit up. You cannot make this shit up. Okay, so grifters. That is the only word that comes to mind here. And another thing that we need to be clear about. Jeremy's made a few more videos on this subject. I haven't watched them, actually. So you should probably go and watch Jeremy's channels about the updates that he's given on it. But another thing that needs to be revealed is we cannot reasonably, even though she probably did consent to these acts, you don't blame the woman or the female for the actions, desires, and intentions of the male, who is supposed to be the leader in the relationship. I don't care if that's what you think. I don't care if that's how your dynamic works, but traditionally, the way things are supposed to work, the male leads. That is your proper place and role in the nuclear family unit. The man leads the family. He makes the decisions. He calls the shots. I understand. Trust me, Mrs. Carnal is no pushover. I married a very strong-willed woman intentionally because I couldn't handle any other type, to be perfectly honest, and no other type could possibly handle me. So, but in that regard, we should not be placing any blame on the decision, on that particular decision making, on the female whatsoever. That it would be inappropriate, it would be wrong, it would be immoral. And This is just to show, not only did he subject this woman to cuckoldry, assuming it's the same woman, by the way, not only did he subject her to cuckolding, he subjected her to being sold on the internet to make rent. Because you, as a conservative man, couldn't find any other possible alternative to make money for your household. I mean, what the... seriously, the only word for it is grifter. Your only vocational choice here, despite being the appearance of the alpha conservative Giga Chad, is to either sell your body, write articles about sending your woman off to be fucked by another man, and when those are off the table and you're doing well, you sell a sham to other men to make themselves better men. What the fuck? And I mean, seriously, the reason why we're not blaming the woman here in particular is because guys like this are so weak that they have to... They abuse the masculine power of leadership. That this is an abuse of power. And I'm not saying that in the social justice way. This is a very ancient, old, traditional conservative notion. Men who preside over families should not abuse the power they have in trust to those families. In fact, if you look at the divorce rates in the 1950s, which Mrs. Carnal and I actually looked into not too long ago, the number one reason that women were granted divorce wasn't for sexual dissatisfaction. It wasn't for money. It wasn't irreconcilable differences. No, it was cruelty. Cruelty. The world in the 1950s, where the patriarchy was still in power, gave women the right and ability to leave a marriage if the man was cruel. Now, mind you, take that statistic with a grain of salt, because the reason we have no-fault divorce is because that can of worms was opened in the state of California by Republican Governor Ronald Reagan. And he enacted no-fault divorce because his ex-wife had to lie about his alleged cruelties to get the divorce that she wanted. So to avoid other men from being humiliated and lied about in the divorce proceedings, he enacted no-fault divorce to give men their dignity, to stop women from having to lie. So despite the fact that most of the marriages that ended in that time were for cruelty, not every accusation was true. Shocking, I know. Women lying, the complete shocker. So, but back to the notion, the traditional stance of men being responsible and having an obligation to not abuse the power and position that they hold in the traditional family unit. You cannot blame the woman when the man decides that this is the direction the family, the couple, are going to go. That decision, those acts, and that dynamic in the relationship belongs squarely on his shoulders. And we see it all the time, tragically. Do you have any idea how many abortions women get, not because they want to get the abortion, but because their lover is unfit, unwilling, not, quote unquote, not ready to be a father? Like, weak partners, weak men are a leading cause for abortion. You get that through your head. A woman not feeling safe to bring a child into this world is one of the leading causes for that. So even in those cases where the woman is essentially coerced into murder, it's because the man in her life, the one who's supposed to be leading her, the one that is supposed to be guiding her and providing a life for her, is telling her, you have no choice. And we see a similar abusive situation with Jack Murphy. And so I'm not going to lay any blame on the position of the woman, of his now wife. I'm not going to lay that on her feet. That would be completely irresponsible. It would be unrealistic. It would be untrue to conservative values to do so. And so here we are with literal video of Jack Murphy shoving silicone up his ass and performing sex acts with his wife on camera for an audience so they can pay the rent. And I cannot wrap my head, I still can't wrap my head around it. I cannot wrap my head around the idea of a man, someone who calls themselves a conservative, to really subject not just themselves, but their partner to that kind of exposure, that kind of abuse, because you couldn't find any other way of making money. I'm over it. Like, I'm how do you even do this? Why? So, this has led to an expose of Jack Murphy, his exploits, his the life and times of Jack Murphy exposed, pretty much, how he got his career. And I thank God I had religion to, like, lead me through what it meant to be a man, because my God, the men these days truly are in dire straits, to the point where following people like this and taking their advice seems like a reasonable thing to do, even if it costs $100 a month. For $100 a month, you can be in proximity to someone who seems to have it all together. I don't blame young men who have the means to shill that out to take that route, because men really don't have any guidance today. And part of that is because their most intrinsic natural instincts are so constrained and so restricted that expressing manly virtues of protection and providing are it's crushing. It's crushing out here. It is not reasonable. And yet we still have to get by. We still have to shoulder on. We still have to powerfully and stoically survive and make it to the next generation. And hopefully provide a next generation, God willing. But that's where we're at with this whole Jack Murphy bullshit. That's where we're at. Just wanted to cue you guys all in and just let you know it's getting shadier. So, once again, grifter. Complete and absolute grifter. And an abuse of masculine power in any sort of romantic relationship. Truly, that this is a disgrace to anything that comes within proximity of being conservative. I don't know how Jack Murphy can call himself conservative at all. I can't. I cannot wrap my head around it. My God, this is just sad. Anyways, that's all I got. That is all I have for this. I'm sorry for disturbing you. Do not go on Twitter and find this shit, because just no. I'm not going to show you. If you want to pollute your eyes with that bullshit, go right on ahead. I might have posted one on Telegram, because I shared it on Twitter and I have auto posting, so it might be there. I apologize profusely. But anyways, that's it, guys. Stay carnal and God bless. Bye bye.